Okay, welcome again, my dearest students. So, how are you? Are you tired? Let me know, please. Are you tired? No?
No yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, good answer.
Little
Thank you.
bit.
Good answer, okay. Hey, el día lunes solo conmigo tienen clase. Sí, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Ah, vaya, nice. Okay. So, let's continue. Vamos a discutir un poco, vamos a leer un poquito. Vamos a ir despacio, no se preocupen porque yo sé que igual, ¿verdad? Pasar con la teacher Gabriela toda la mañana es cansado, como nos pone a hablar esta señora, pero bueno, ahí estamos. So, let's continue to talking about Montessori methodology. So, benefits of Montessori education. Alessandra, could you please read number 1?
Students develop leadership.
Thank you, Irene. Number 2.
Provide environments where students have the freedom and tools to seek answers to their own concerns.
Uy, perdón, que esa es la clase anterior, ya se grabó. Okay, thank you. Jackie, number 3.
Montessori education recognizes that children learn in different ways.
Thank you, Anita. Number 4.
Children feel support and gain confidence about the challenge ahead.
Thank you so much. Ok, beneficios de la educación de la señora María Montessori. Students develop leadership. Hay que enseñarles, ¿verdad? Que cada uno es distinto y que cada uno puede ser un líder. Recuerda que un líder no es el que manda, un líder es el que ayuda, el que enseña. Number 2, provide environments where students have the freedom and tool to seek answer to their own concerns. Deles esa oportunidad, ya les he dicho muchas y repetidas veces. Dele las herramientas, no le dé todo al alumno, haga que participe, haga que piense, haga que opine, haga que haga también, pues. O sea, no es solo recibiendo todo el tiempo. Usted va a formar educadores. Usted va a formar abogados, maestros, doctores, dele las herramientas, pero que ellos puedan decidir en qué forma o cómo utilizarlas. Montessori Education recognizes that children learn in different ways. No todos los alumnos son iguales, usted ya lo sabe perfectamente. Estamos haciendo un review. En este caso, usted siempre y sencillamente tiene que tratar la manera de aplicar una metodología que nos pueda funcionar con todo el diferente tipo de alumno que nosotros vayamos a tener. En number 4, children feel supported and gain confidence. Háganlos que se sientan confiados. Ustedes van a encontrar muchos alumnos que no les va a gustar su materia. Usted se va a encontrar con muchos alumnos que no les gusta su materia y no va a ser por usted, va a ser porque quizás no les dieron, no se la dieron una forma interactuada o no utilizaron algunas herramientas como decir actividades para enseñar un tema, sino que todo era puro libro, todo era libro, teacher. Entonces a mí por eso el inglés no me gusta porque yo no lo entiendo. Viera el maestro cómo lo hablaba, viera la maestra, yo no le entendía. Entonces, support your students to gain confidence. Apóyelos igual para que ganen confianza. Challenge. Hoy toda la vida, hoy todo gira alrededor de challenge. Nuevas metas, nuevos sueños, nuevos objetivos. Hoy todo el mundo quiere estudiar, hoy todo el mundo quiere aprender. Señores, la competencia allá afuera está difícil. Vamos a hacer un review, Montessori terminology. As you remember, we were studying the absorbent mind. ¿Cómo es que un niño aprende? En este caso, a period of intense mental activity, que a mí me encanta. Mental activity, mantener activo al alumno. Trate de mantener activo al alumno todo el tiempo. No solamente habla usted, que si usted habla, en este caso no me va a poner atención. Si solo la teacher habla, usted no me va a poner atención. So, mental activity. Try to make your students participate all the time in class. Learning from her environment. Desde el punto de vista de cómo usted tiene decorado un salón de clases. Recuerde que la primera escuela que ellos tienen es la casa. What is the first model? ¿Quién es el primer modelo a seguir? Our mom. Nuestra mamá es nuestro primer modelo a seguir, aunque no lo queramos, ya por naturaleza. So, learning from her environment, absorbent mind. ¿Cómo usted quiere que ese alumno, que esa alumna absorba el conocimiento que usted le quiere transmitir? By reading, by sharing experience, by feeling and working on their books all the time? No, you have to find the best, not an excellent, the best way, absorbent mind. Estuvimos viendo Children's House, what is represented in any of the classroom for children age 3 to 6 years. According to our system, it's called kindergarten o el kinder, vean. Concrete to abstract. Ya se los dije, para mí hubiera sido mejor abstracto a lo concreto. Allows child to develop an abstract understanding or a concept. Hey, the topic is this one. What do you understand? Do you have any idea? What represents the word for you? What represents the equation for you? How important? What is this one in your own words? Could you please give us your answer? Could you please give us your opinion? I love the child to develop an extra understanding or a topic. Learning the mathematical concept. Ok, van a ver algunos temas, incluso en inglés, que todo es cuestión de, yo les digo, a la gramática es como las matemáticas, en este caso en el inglés. So, learning the mathematical concept. Si usted un día llega a ser maestro de matemática en una escuela bilingüe, you have to try to find, not the funniest, because when you are learning something, it depends. But you have to find the good method, the good didactic. Try not to be all the time with the same routine, doing the same routine. Okay, for today we are going to work on your book. But maybe tomorrow we are going to go to the hall and having like a picnic. And maybe we are going to continue working on your book and your notebook, but in another place when it's possible, right? Control of error. Remember, you are not perfect. You are the teacher, but you aren't perfect. Instant feedback about her progress. Okay, but you have to give a model. And you have to continue monitoring your students. Control error. Allowing her to recognize, correct, and learn from an error without an audio assistance. As I said before, when you correct or when you are going to correct mistakes of your students, do it in a polite way, in an educational way. No así como que, puchica, ya te lo expliqué un montón de veces y no entendés, ¿verdad? Ya entendés, o sea, ya te lo expliqué así de una forma y you don't got it. ¿Por qué no entendés? No, way. Try to teach the topics first, then assistant, then try to monitoring your students, and then try to solve. If I got some doubts, o sea, siempre va a haber el alumno que, teacher, ¿me puede repetir? Teacher, no entendí. Teacher, fíjese que yo vi una mosca y... Entonces, tiene que tratar la manera siempre de ser polite, amable todo el tiempo. It doesn't matter if teenagers, kids, adults, incluso a veces los adultos son más distraídos que los niños chiquitos. Créanme que sí son más distraídos. Vamos a hacer un review del coordination of movement. ¿Qué era el coordination of movements? The child learns to complete tasks independently. Fíjense que eso se aplica más a los niños que están como, por ejemplo, me atrevería a decir por mi experiencia, quizás de séptimo grado para arriba. Pero cuando están chiquitos, que completen algo por ellos mismos, es un poco más complicado. ¿Por qué? Porque hay muchos niños que ni siquiera, por ejemplo, en el caso de los niños que pasan de kinder a primer grado, ni siquiera saben usar un lápiz. Entonces, la coordinación, o sea, coordination of movements. Ok, diferentes áreas. Ok, en kindergarten usted tiene que enseñarle a un niño incluso hasta cómo agarrar un lápiz, cómo agarrar un lapicero, en el caso de los que ya van a primer grado, segundo grado. Y ellos se sienten tan felices cuando usted ya les dice, ok, hoy ya vas a poder utilizar lapicero, porque en primer grado tengo entendido que no les permiten usar lapicero, o sea, todo es a puro lápiz. Ya cuando ellos utilizan lapicero, ellos se sienten grandes. Usted ahí, en este caso, ya le va enseñando a que sea más independiente. Pero en el caso de los niños, por ejemplo, de séptimo grado, ya es otro tipo. En el caso de Montessori, refiriéndose al coordination movement, ya es otro tipo. Ya, obviamente, un niño de séptimo grado no le va a agarrar la mano a usted para, mira, así se pone el lápiz. Pero en este caso, usted sí le puede decir, mira, trabaja ordenado. Forra tus cuadernos. O sea, ¿quién te lo forra? Mi mamá, dicen ellos. No, o sea, aprendamos incluso desde a forrar un cuaderno. Coordination of movement. It depends of the level, ¿ok? Directress or guide. Vamos con la siguiente terminología. Yo me imagino que usted leyó un poquito, porque yo me imagino que usted sabía que teníamos que leer un poquito, ¿verdad? Directress or guide. Oh, two terms totally different, but what is directress or guide? The role of the teacher is to guide. Hey, what is your role? Teacher, I got many roles as a teacher. I got many, yes, of course, but one of the first one is to guide individual children to purposeful activities based upon her observation. Teacher, qué difícil es ser maestro. It's not difficult. It's a big opportunity to increase by yourself too. Directrice or guide. Teacher, how can I guide my students? Well, number one, by observing. Creo que Alessandro una vez mencionó eso. By observing. You have to observe the time. You're going to see different students working in different ways. So observing. You are the guide. You are the teacher. Not the perfect, because I always said that, but the role of the teacher is to guide. Let's see, Anita, could you please turn on your audio? Be ready, Mauricio. Anita, talking about Montessori terminology, y de ahí les voy a preguntar, de todas las que hemos visto, ¿cuál le llamó más la atención y por qué? Anita, directrice or guide? According to Montessori terminology, the role of the teacher is to guide. What's your opinion about it? Se prepara Mauricio.
I agree, because first you need to prepare or to guide the student to do different tasks with a little help, but then you need to give them their space, they need to experience, or they need to figure it out how to, I don't know, how to develop different activities by their own.
Okay, thank you so much. Teacher, our role as a teacher is to guide. Okay, yes, but all the time? We need to guide all the time. I'm asking to you, my students, before to continue with Mauricio. I'm asking to you, we need to guide all the time? I don't have a student, my God.
No, teacher.
Okay. Yes, but not why. Yes, Jackie, Mauricio, huh?
Because they have to discover by himself, herself, because we are going to be guides and guiding some when they, for example, um, do something that it is not good, but we have to give them the freedom too, because they need to discover by themselves, I consider.
Yes, of course. Okay, Mauri, please. We need to guide all the time, over and over.
Oh, no, because we're looking for an, an student who is autonomous. That is how
Mm-hmm.
it's called. Okay. Autonomous with independence to study by himself or herself to do the things without indications in the future. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, with giving the idea of how, or better said, the necessary, we are supplying the student with tools, with effective structures, cognitive structures to resolve and fix future problems.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the student needs to get used to work by himself, not alone, but himself.
Okay.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's why I think it is necessary to let to the students just ask for help when they really need, or cooperate with mates if they really need help, but
Mm-hmm.
not looking for a for a for a for a for answer who is fixed previously. I mean, not go for the easy way. Always look for alternatives, because that is what is missing in many adults in the age of 20 and go on. Okay, and that will be all.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Let's see, Irene, in your opinion, what do you understand about observation? Montessori terminology. Observation. What is observation?
Observation is when, for example, the teacher make a student work,
Like
and when
monitoring, right?
yeah, and the
Mm-hmm.
teacher observe what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So because it is necessary that the teacher observe everything, because the teacher can know about the student if he or she is observing every second.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. This is directrice or guide. As you know, and you said, we need to guide all the time. Not all the time. Just when it's necessary. Just when you are looking for something. Remember, you are the teacher. Your work never stops. Even when you finish your work day, your work never stops. You continue working, you continue learning all the time. So, the role of the teacher is simple, to guide, but not all the time. Number one, and number two, it depends of the level. Okay? Because as you know, according to the age, is according to our necessity. Freedoms within limits. Montessori terminology. Mire, esa señora como que verdaderamente quería dejar a los niños y al estudiante como aprender, pero de acuerdo como vos quieras aprender. Freedom within limits. What is this one? What kind of terminology is this? Carefully and thoughtfully designed to encourage children to move about freely and choose their own work. Por ejemplo, si usted tiene un niño que es bien hiperactivo, ese niño toda la vida va a terminar primero que todos. Si usted ha tenido la experiencia de dar clases en un salón, usted se va a dar cuenta que siempre va a haber, vamos a tener, siempre van a haber los mismos personajes. Y uno de los personajes que se presentan en el salón de clases es el niño hiperactivo. Es el niño que usted quisiera que no existiera la lepina para poderlo amarrar al pupitre. Siempre está, y cuando digo niño, no piense en el niño de 5º grado. Niño es hasta, en este caso, los 17 años. Entonces, todavía usted va a tener cipotes en bachillerato que ellos nunca van a poder estar quietos. Y hoy los psicólogos le llaman déficit de atención y que no sé qué, la emoción. Y no, simplemente son niños que no pueden estar sentados. Por ejemplo, en mi caso yo toda la vida siempre he sido una persona que yo toda la vida estoy en constante movimiento. Por ejemplo, yo ahorita estoy dando clases, pero yo estoy de pie. Y yo me estoy caminando aquí por un estudio que tenemos. Entonces yo hago de cuenta caso que estoy en el salón de clases, porque si en algún día tenemos la oportunidad de estar presencial, usted va a ver que yo no me siento. O sea, yo ando caminando, yo ando, mira, y vos aquí, y vos allá. O sea, yo así doy la clase porque yo toda la vida fui bien hiperactiva. Entonces, usted va a encontrar siempre ese tipo de alumnos que, ya terminé, y lo hacen bien. Entonces, tiene que en este caso diseñar una estrategia con ese tipo de alumnos. Usted le ha dado la libertad de trabajar, ok, al trabajar yo solo te voy a estar monitoreando, te voy a estar observando, etc. Ok, cuando esa persona termine, ¿cuál puede ser un método para que este alumno nos deje la vida tranquila y nos deje estar dando la clase tranquila? ¿Me quedé sin alumnos otra vez? Ajá, señores.
Pienso que lo primero es trabajar con tiempo. Working under pressure always is better, always is best, the best option, because you put a limit, like Montessori said, limited in this limit, you have to take care of your work. And then...
Yes, but think this one. I'm your student. Teacher Alessandra, I already done, I finished. So now, what's next?
Okay, you're going to help me to this.
Ajá, give an extra. Ey, pero no le debo, o sea, ahora hace 3 páginas más. No, according to Alessandra, no. Yes. According to Alessandra, give a responsibility because they are going to feel, hey, I'm the best. I'm good at this. I'm a leader. So, dele un trabajo extra, pero no así como que vaya, ya terminaste, ahora hacete estas 10 páginas. No way. Hey, could you please help me with this guy? Could you please help me with Lupita because she has some problem with exercise 5? O sea, mira, y te voy a dar un punto, vea. Hey, I'm gonna give you an extra point. No, hombre, bichos. Ahí, o sea, ahí lo van a tener feliz. Ahí lo van a tener. Entonces, freedom with limits. Freedom with limits. Okay. Obviously, we are going to have the necessity to work under pressure. For example, when you are passing your test, under pressure, when you are working on your book, under pressure, when you are completing a task, under pressure, but not all the time. Not all the time. Freely, okay? And remember, okay, choose their own work. Okay. Yo siento que ahora el sistema de poner los pupitres en fila, siento yo de que, al menos yo en mi caso, yo siempre rompí con ese estereotipo. Yo siempre fui de las maestras que ponía los pupitres en semicírculo y ponía grupos de 4, o sea, semicírculo 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Y tenía yo como la la técnica de que los imperativos me gustaba tenerlos cerca. O sea, la gente imperativa me gustaba tenerla cerca porque era un mayor control. Porque aunque usted diga no, hay que darles espacio, pero o sea, límites. Tenemos límites también, porque o sea, yo soy la maestra, no soy tuchera. Esa es otra cosa. Freedom, ok, tenés la libertad de, pero no se te olvide que yo soy la maestra. Una tan sola vez creo que les dije a los hipotes, yo no soy su chera. Yo no soy su amiga. Yo soy tu maestra. Entonces, ¿qué es ser maestro para ustedes? Ser maestro es ser todo. O sea, teacher, pero está diciendo que no somos chera. No, ojo. Yo no soy tu chera, yo no soy tu amiga, yo soy tu maestra que te guía, que te puede apoyar, que te puede dar un consejo, pero nunca se vaya a salir del huacal de tener un alumno favorito. Nunca se va a salir del huacal de siempre mandar al mismo a hacer algún mandado, porque este me cae bien. O voy a mandar, como este es el que friega, este es el que voy a mandar a que me haga el mandado. No. O sea, conforme la experiencia, you are going to learn. According to your experience. Remember, Montessori terminology. Freedom, but with limits. Como cuando usted tiene un hijo, yo creo que aquí nadie es mamá. Como cuando usted tiene un hijo, ok, te voy a dar esto, pero si haces esto. O su mamá con usted, te voy a dar esto, pero si haces esto. Freedom with limits. Montessori terminology. Designed to encourage children to move about freely and choose their own work. Ok, but with limits. O sea, hace esto, pero yo te voy a estar observando. Freedom with limits. Montessori terminology. Ok. Grace and courtesy. Otra terminología de... Saqué los más relevantes. Ustedes se fijaron, hay un listado, pero yo saqué los más relevantes. Grace and courtesy. Saying please and thank you. 8. How difficult is said, hey, thank you. Please. Enséñales a sus alumnos a ser cultos, hombre. O sea, hasta para pedir algo, pues. Enséñales how to respect each other. Saying please, saying 2 simple but powerful words. When you were a child, I mean, between 1 years old until 8 years old, maybe, you don't care about courtesy, even though you didn't have any idea what kind of word is that. What is courtesy? Courtesy is when you respect others. Hey, mira, bicho, que no sé qué, que, o sea, vení para acá, bicho pasmado. No, güey. Yo sé que eso ya no se practica, pero yo me acuerdo que cuando yo estudiaba, que yo iba a primer grado, la maestra hasta amarraba a los hipotes que no se sentaban. Así se los digo, la maestra tenía un lazo en su locker y ella amarraba a los alumnos. O sea, obviamente eso ya no se puede hacer, hasta la lepina, o sea, eso ya no se puede hacer, ¿verdad? Pero teaching your students not just to be a good individual, teach your students to be a good person. ¿Ya han escuchado cuando dicen un título no compra los modales? Hay gente con título que no saluda. Wey, good morning. How are you? Ah, thank you. Please. So, you have to be the teacher not just to guide, not just to teach. You have to be the teacher like a create good people for our society. O sea, una necesidad que tenemos de que tenemos que tener esa cortesía. Si en la casa no les enseñan a nuestros alumnos, we have to. Por eso, si usted se metió a esta carrera, hagámosle frente, señores. Porque es una carrera muy bonita, una carrera donde usted va a tener muchas experiencias y va a conocer mucho acerca del comportamiento humano, etcétera. Va a hacer muchas cosas. Pero, si usted se metió a esta carrera, señores, you have to be brave. ¿Por qué? Porque enseñar, el mundo de enseñar no es pararse. Escribir una fecha, un tema, y ahí tiene que tratar la manera de ser un Montessori. Mire la fotografía de la señora. Look at the picture. How happy she looks. Look at the picture. She's enjoying. Hey, I really enjoy teaching. Ya, yo en todo el ciclo los voy a aburrir y lo siento, pero I really enjoy it. So, you have to be not just, I'm an English teacher. I'm an English teacher. So, yes, but what kind of teacher are you? What kind of teacher are you? Just to teach? No, güey. Si usted se metió esto solo para enseñar, no es su business. Discúlpeme, no es su business. Así se lo digo. Si usted quiere pasar amargado todo el día o amargado todo, it's not your business. No, teacher, I love to teach. Ah, okay. It's a vocation. Ah, okay. It's your vocation. Yes, teacher. I like to help others. Me gusta ayudar a los demás. So, Montessori terminology, she was focused on grace and courtesy. Why? Porque ella sabía que en nuestra sociedad nosotros necesitamos ser ese tipo de personas, ser más agradecidos. No, hombre, no se queje por todo, si para todo hay solución, cipote. Son ustedes que tienen la vida más joven que yo. Para todo hay solución en esta vida. So, saying those words, powerful words, please and thank you. Vamos con la siguiente terminology. Mixed age grouping, or in this case, multi-age grouping. Uy, como ahora, vea que ahora las clases de Zoom, hasta 40 hay conectados ahora. Gracias a Dios aquí no es eso. Enable younger children to learn from older children and experience new challenge through observations. Enable younger children to learn from older children. Okay. That's a good point, but how can it be possible to learn from others? For example, in my case, you are older than me, but it doesn't matter, I'm still learning. Montessori terminology about mixed age grouping, in my point of view, it's not about observation. In my point of view, this terminology, it's about sharing ideas. It's about experience from seeing others. But mixed age grouping or multi-age grouping. For example, teacher, I'm a person who doesn't like to follow rules. Okay, I'm a 2. I don't like to follow rules all the time, just when it's very necessary. But most of the time, I like to listen others. And it doesn't matter if you're younger or if you're older than me. Yo creo que dije que era older, pero younger. It doesn't matter if you're younger or older than me. You're not perfect. You are continue learning. So it is the same with your students. You are going to have the students that, I don't need help, teacher. I can do it by myself. Okay, let's freedom. Okay, but what is the result? You're going to have some students that they don't ask for help. Miren, yo tenía un alumno, nunca se me olvidó, se llama apellido Líbano. Este niño, yo no sé qué fue lo que los papás le dieron. Este cipote estaba, bueno, yo lo tuve casi toda su niñez y toda su adolescencia. Este niño, yo no sé qué le dieron sus papás, pero este niño estaba sobrevaluado. O sea, él sacaba 10 en absolutamente en todo. Y ya era un bilingüe también. A él no le gustaba trabajar en grupos, no le gustaba pedir ayuda. Es más, usted se olvidaba que Liévano, porque ese era el apellido de él, usted se olvidaba que Liévano estaba en el salón de clase, porque usted daba una directriz y todo el mundo pedía ayuda y él solito lo hacía. Ahora bien, ¿eso es bueno o eso es malo? Depende de qué. Porque obviamente estando él en el colegio, ok, está bien la vida, pues es otra. Pero ¿qué pasa cuando ya nos enfrentamos a la realidad? Cuando tenemos un jefe, cuando tenemos que trabajar en grupo. Entonces, muchos alumnos no les gusta ayudarse de otros alumnos. Muchos alumnos en este caso prefieren hacer las cosas solos y dicen, no, this is my way. Okay, I respect your way, but you have to learn to work in groups. En los valores que hablábamos, develop team groups. Hasta es un valor el trabajar en equipo. But enable younger children to learn from older children. For example, let's see, Mauricio, could you please turn on your audio?
Yes, of course, teacher.
As a student, I'm not asking for a teacher. As a student, do you remember what kind of students were you when you were studying in your basic level, primer grado, segundo grado? Do you remember what kind of student were you?
Yes, I remember. I was the kind of kid that preferred to be alone. But not because I wanted to be alone. It's just I was not interested in what the others do. For example, some kids like to play football, others to play Nika, but I didn't like it. I disagree with those kind of games. I was into more things like I don't know, drawing and painting. I like this. And when I was in the classroom, yeah, I was very quiet. I mean, I finished my homework and I stay in my seat because
Wow.
that's what my parents always said. Once you finish, you can do whatever you want, but stay quiet, okay? And
Hey,
don't be.
hey, I like it. I like it this way. Hey, how important is our parents' roles, right? For example,
Yes.
when the parents they don't like to join as a teacher, students, and parents, cuando ese triángulo no existe. But how important is the roles of our parents? For example, as Mauricio said, teacher, I did it because my parents pushed me to do it. Under pressure, no, it's value, son valores. Porque, o sea, no es como que, ok, te obligo, no, son valores, simple. So, how important is to join the experience and how important is to work in groups with our parents, teachers and parents, Mauricio.
Yes, yes. Wow. And after that, I remember that I was very lazy in talking about uh, how can I say group homeworks because I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But it's kind of what kind of homework they gave me to me because I remember that the homeworks of the high school was very boring. Well, the high school not basis was very boring. In high school, it was changing something because I was really interested in the subjects, I in the topics. So the homework position it was more comfortable, more uh, agreeable. I don't know how to say that. Okay, the thing is that the time I was okay. I was changing. I was changing a lot. But yeah, when I was in the first grades, I was more quiet and also, I don't know. I had some things very weird.
You got the same behavior from your childhood until your teens. You got the same behavior. For example, in my case,
No.
in my case, I remember when I was in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade, I was the students who likes to pay attention, follow rules, respect my classmates, and obviously my teachers. But it changed when I start my high school. Yes, I am still respecting my teachers, but I decided to, no, it wasn't a decision. It was like a behavior. I changed. In my case, I changed.
Yeah, the teens are very difficult stage of the life.
Yes, and I was more interested on new things.
Mm,
Yeah.
that is good.
Yes, I changed. In my case, I changed. And I continue changing on my university ways.
Yes,
I
yes.
decide to be more responsible, but I decide to continue respect my others' opinions too. But as a human, we are in a continue changing, right?
Right, right.
Okay.
We always change. And yeah, I think my behavior changed a lot because yeah, when I was a kid, I was usually quiet, but when I got angry, I gave kids, I yelled out and on everything for
Because it's
attention
normal.
to my
Uh-huh,
parents.
uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was more, how can I say that, more aggressive than usual in kids.
Hey,
Okay,
the
but
last
in
question, excuse me, the last question. Do you prefer to monitoring or do you prefer to begin monitoring?
to be,
Do you prefer to be? Okay, do you prefer to guide others or do you prefer to learn from others?
I prepare from others,
Mm-hmm.
but um, maybe no, I don't like that others give me say this. Uh, it's difficult. It's difficult. No, I don't know. Depends of the person because
Mm-hmm.
there are people that I don't like that they give me orders. To be honest, but others, yeah, I like it and I follow what they're saying.
Okay.
So it depends on the person.
It depends. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing always my research. Choose one lady. It's your option.
Irene,
Irene, please. Irene, give us your point of view. But before to give us your opinion, do you prefer to guide or do you prefer to learn from others?
But
Both. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I think that it's good when you guide other, but we learn from others. I mean, it is a good idea to hear and learn different opinion because
Mm-hmm.
each person does the thing in different ways. It is good when you learn from other because in my case, I have many teachers. I have learned English from many teachers, and it is
Mm-hmm.
good because every teacher teaches in different ways, and
Mm-hmm.
I have learned, and I like that because, as I said before, each person is different, and that person will teach you different things that you don't know.
Okay, excellent, thank you. So, learning from others. I always said to you, my students, you never stop learning. You have to learn every day new things. Try to take risk. Let's see, Jackie, about this terminology. Contigo termino esta terminología de Montessori. Learning from others. What's your opinion, please?
My opinion about learning from others. Okay, it is good because as I mentioned in another classes, we can learn different things about different topics from other persons. Because, for example, I can be good at doing something, but another person has different knowledge. Maybe I am good at speaking English, but my classmate is good in grammar. She is good in writing probably, and if I go along with her, I can learn different things, different skills, and I think that in some case, yeah, you can do the things by yourself, right? Because not all the time you have to do the things in groups, but it is like mix, sometimes in groups, sometimes alone, because when we do something when I do something by myself, I learn too, because probably I ask for help, and I can say, and my friend, can you help me with this? I have a problem. Oh, okay, just do this and that. And I learn too. And I can discover about what I good doing. For example, I remember last semester I learned to use a new app with my classmates. That app genially. So we have never used that app, but we learned together. So it was a new experience because when your teacher presents something new, you get like a little stress. We got stressed because it is something new, and for the time in another factors you think a lot of things, but when it is in group you feel like a more relaxed. You feel, oh, my classmate is going to help me too, and I'm going to help her. So two heads thinks more than one, right? And it is interesting. For me, it is okay learn from others. Person.
Excellent. I share your opinion too. Learning from others is good all the time. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter if you're older or younger than the others too. Let's continue. Thanks for sharing to all of you. Thank you, my dearest students. You are really good. So, Montessori terminology, I got plans of development. Look at this one. Human begin progress through ages 0 to 6. Look at this one. The period of the absorbent mind. Pregunta de parcial. Según Montessori, ¿en qué edad comprende el absorbent mind? O sea, el absorber los conocimientos from 0 to 6 years old. Fíjense que antes de continuar con eso, yo andaba buscando una imagen, pero se la voy a tratar de describir. Hay una imagen que los psicólogos ponen que es como un cerebro. Entonces, imaginemos que acá, y créanme que lo estoy buscando y no lo encontré. Estaban dos cerebros. Estaba un cerebro totalmente lleno de cosas, tenía muchas manchas, tenían muchas figuras, y era un cerebro en este caso de la edad de los 0 a los 6 años. Y por eso es que Montessori y María Montessori se explica mucho que la edad absorbente en este caso, de un periodo progresivo es de los 0 a los 6 años. Entonces teníamos el primer cerebro, imagínense el primer cerebro porque le voy a hacer una pregunta de eso. En el primer cerebro de los 0 a los 6 años, usted tiene un cerebro lleno de figuras, lleno de manchas, lleno de muchas fotografías, lleno de muchas imágenes, todo lo que usted quiera. De los 7 en adelante, la foto era más blanco, o sea, ya habían más espacios en blanco, en este caso, ya habían más espacios en blanco. ¿Cuál es la diferencia? ¿Por qué de los 0 a los 6 estaba a los salvadoreños tupido de información y después, a partir de los 7 años, en este caso, está más solo el cerebro? Cuando usted podría decir, no, teacher, pero debería ser lo contrario, porque un niño chiquito no asume esto, en cambio un niño grande sí. ¿Cuál cree usted en qué se basa la diferencia de esos dos cerebros? Salga de la zona de confort y piense por un momento. Ujú. Me quedé sin alumnos, ajá.
Maybe
Ujú.
the first brain is not developed yet. I mean, when you are a child, you don't have previous knowledge. That's why, because you haven't lived so much. So it's easy for the brain remember and acquire things that are new for you. In this case, because you don't have information, you don't have partners, you don't have attitudes, then you will take the first ones that you see. And that's why a child has more probabilities to learn a new language more easily than a teenager.
Okay, I got your point. Excellent. Thank you, Mauricio. Let's see. Alessandra, what about you? What's the difference between the first and the second brain? One
I
is
think
crowd of information and the another is
mhm,
empty or less empty. Mhm.
mm, maybe is not empty of knowledge,
Mhm.
is empty of doubt or when you have clarified something. I mean, while you growing up in your in your knowledge of too, you clarify everything, and it may you are going to develop the abilities, and maybe this means that the skills are locked when you have this. The first brain, the abilities and the skills are locked, and then they are going to develop.
Okay, I got your point too. Please, Alessandra, choose the last student. Between Anita,
And
Irene, or Jackie? Irene. Okay, Irene, in your point of view, brain number 1 is full of information, but the second is a kind of empty. What represent for you?
Teacher, I didn't catch the idea because
Don't
I have
worry, don't worry.
some eating problem issues, but could you repeat again?
For example, I got two brains. Number 1, it's with full information, images, pictures, scratches. And the second brain is totally opposite. It's a kind of empty. Yeah, with some information, but a kind of empty. What represent the two brains for you?
I think that it depends on the person. If the person work hard in what they want to learn, in what the person want to learn. But I heard that you mentioned some age or no?
Yes, of course. For example, brain number 1 is from 0 to 6 years old. And brain number 2 is from 7.
Well, I always say that when we are little, we can learn easily, but then when we are growing up, everything changes. I think that I don't know, but when we are little, we are motivated and we learn everything that we watch. Then when we are growing up, we changes everything. And we don't pay attention at the same
Oh my, yes, excelente. Si fuera pregunta de parcial, ya exacto. Siempre que un alumno me dice, y eso es algo que lo tengo comprobado. Siempre que un alumno me dice, teacher, I don't have the idea so clear, but I'm going to give you my point of view. Siempre que un alumno me dice así, lo hace excelente. Es exactamente como Irene lo acaba de explicar. De la edad de los 0 a los 6 años, el ser humano absorbe todo lo que escucha, todo lo que mira, absorbe todo lo que toca. ¿Se ha fijado que los niños tienen la maña de meterse las cosas a la boca? ¿Por qué? Porque es una forma de experimentar sabores, los objetos, la estructura, para qué sirven. Entonces, de los 0 a 6 años, nosotros escuchamos y le ponemos atención a todo. Por eso es que el cerebro está lleno de información, porque vamos recopilando. ¿Qué pasa después? De la edad de los 7 años en adelante, y esto no lo digo yo, no lo estoy inventando yo, lo dicen los estudios y en este caso, pues obviamente uno lee, no crea que yo me vengo a parar acá a decirles cosas inventadas, no way, never. Entonces, de los 7 en adelante, usted comienza a retener solo la información que a usted le interesa. Ya no está como un bebé, ¿verdad? Que escucha un sonido y yo voy a estar pendiente del sonido. No, ya de los 7 años en adelante, usted comienza a retener la información que usted, en este caso, necesita. ¿Dudas o preguntas de este punto, señores?
No.
Excelente, thank you so much. Muy bien, excelente trabajo, Mauri. Muy bien, Ale. Thank you, Irene. Nice. Me encanta cuando cuando ponemos a los alumnos a pensar. Y miren, siempre que el alumno me dice, ese teacher que no estoy segura, démosle. Continuemos. From 6 to 12 years old. Look at this one. The period of resonating and abstraction. Ok, sigo atrayendo información, pero ya razono, vea. Cuando usted está chiquito, cuando un niño está chiquito, un niño le pega al otro sin necesidad, en este caso le pegué porque de repente me dio ganas de pegarle. Una experiencia que yo tuve, miren, yo siempre se los he dicho en repetidas veces. I'm not a teacher to teach at kindergarten. No, I don't have that patience. No. I prefer to teach teenagers or adults. Yo me acuerdo que una vez, cuando yo comencé mi carrera, que yo comencé a dar mis pininos de enseñar, a mí me mandaron para kinder. Y yo bien emocionada, viendo ahí el montón de chiquitinada ahí, que bien, ellos son bien lindos, ellos por todo lo abrazan a uno, ellos por todo lo quieren andar besando a uno, ellos les regalan la comida que ellos andan, ellos son bien lindos los niños. Pero una de las cosas que yo pude observar, así de la nada, estaban los niños comiendo, estaban en su receso. Chicos, de la nada, una niña le dejó ir una manotada a la otra, así, o sea, le dio una cachetada o sea, comiendo estaban y la niña vino, pum, le pegó en la cara a la otra. No tenemos razonamiento a esa edad. ¿Por qué lo hizo? Por maldad, no creo. Por picardía, no creo. Yo creo que simplemente digo, le voy a pegar en la cara a esta porque tengo ganas, no sé. Entonces, no tenemos ese razonamiento. Y eso que no me he metido en el tema de que después viene el papá a reclamar, que por qué le pegó, que no sé qué. Entonces, si usted va a ser maestro de kinder, tiene que estar preparado para todo. Entonces, del periodo de los 0 a los 6 años, no hay un razonamiento, solo un absorbent mind. Keeping information, keeping information, keeping information. From 6 to 12, the period of reasoning. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, but the reaction is gonna do this one. O sea, ya usted en este caso razona, no solo es abstraction. Ya usted razona. And for 12 to 18, when adolescents or teenagers construct the social self, developing moral values and becoming emotionally independent. Aquí en este caso ya les he dicho, de la edad de los 12 a los 18 años, las hipotas siempre se enamoran del maestro. Los hipotes siempre les llega a gustar su maestro. Y si no es esa etapa, las hipotas cambian de novio a cada rato. Los hipotes andan con una, andan con otra. O sea, ¿por qué? Porque independientemente de la edad que ellos tengan entre 12 y 18 años, hay un constante cambio en ellos. Usted va a ser maestro, pero va a ser psicólogo también. So, from 12 to 18, when adolescents construct what? Maybe their behavior because they are in a completely changed every day. Construct what? According to Montessori, moral values. What kind of teenagers do you have? Do they have values or not? And from 18 to 24, aquí es otra cosa, aquí es otro business, ¿ok? Aquí usted ya se formó, usted ya sabe quién es, usted ya sabe supuestamente qué es lo que quiere. When young adults construct an understanding of self and seek to know their place in the world. Okay, I'm 20 and I would like to be this as a profession. I'm 21 and I want to be this as a profession. But from 0 to 6, absorbent mind. From 6 to 12, reasoning and abstraction. From 12 to 18, construct. From 18 to 24, understanding and seek. What would you like to do in the future? Do you have plans? Yes, I got plans, teacher. Because you are an adult. But if you ask the same question to a child, hey, do you have plans? What is plan, teacher? Do you have goals? Hey, what is goal, teacher? So, terminologías de Montessori de acuerdo a las edades, de los 0 hasta los 24. Yo siempre he marcado y he dicho, ok, de los 19 a los 29. Montessori dice de los 18 a los 24. Yo, Gabriela, dice de los 19 a los 29. Pero yo porque me fui más incluso también a lo profesional, ¿verdad? Señores, ¿dudas o preguntas de esto? Any question? Or everything is clear? A kind of teacher. Feel free, any question, everything is clear. Teacher, I don't understand.
Do you think that that happening in all childs exactly in that age or something?
Most of the time, yes. According to my experience, according to Gabriela's experience, yes. Most of the time, from 0 to 6, yes. Absorbent mind. From 6 to 12? Yes, it is. 70-80%. But in this case, good point. From 6 to 12, your parents reflects something on you. ¿Cómo así, teacher? From 6 to 12, your parents' roles, it's a very important role in your life. O sea, es como una, o sea, el rol de sus papás desde los 6 a los 12, chicos. De los 0 a los 6 años no tanto. Usted se ha fijado, hay mucha migración, o sea, los papás se van y todo, de los 0 a los 6 no afecta tanto. Pero vaya a ver un niño que crezca sin sus papás, desde los 6 a los 12, ya razona, ya no solo absorbe. So, from 0 to 6, yes, maybe, yes, 100%. But it changed from 6 to 12, totally opposite. Maybe 90%. Ahora bien, from 12 to 18, adolescents, porque adolecemos de todo, vean. Adolecemos. Entonces, according to my experience, if I support that idea, yes, I support Montessori's idea. Most of the time. Es raro que cambie. Es raro que de repente haya un alumno que sea muy solo liébano, que les cuento ese caso, pero no he conocido yo otro liébano. Yo no he conocido otro liébano. Entonces, de repente por ahí puede cambiar. De repente. Okay. Another question more, please. Or everything is clear? Okay. Work cycle. Teacher, sí que nos ha puesto a leer ahora. Sí, es que miren la didáctica, chicos. No es solo enseñar metodologías. No es solo enseñar técnicas de enseñanza, cómo usted va a dar una clase, un tema, cómo usted va a tratar un grupo. En este caso, la didáctica tiene que ver mucho con la cuestión de la psicología. Yo no los mandé a leer, yo los mandé a hacer un pequeño resumen. Quiero que observemos este siguiente, work cycle. ¿Qué significa un work cycle? Number 1, Alessandra, could you help me to read, please?
Work cycle.
Yeah.
Choosing an activity.
Thank you. Number 2, please, Ale.
Sorry. Completing the activity to completion. Perhaps repeating the full sequence of the activity multiple times. Cleaning up and returning the materials to the proper place. And
number 3.
Experiencing a sense of satisfaction to have fully completed the task.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Les voy a dar 2 minutos. Work cycle. El work cycle, it means you don't have to be out of the box. You have to follow a system. Number 1, choosing an activity. Number 2, to complete. And number 3, what kind of experience do you got? Work cycle, se lo repito otra vez. What is work cycle? When you, in this case, have the necessity to be involved all the time following rules. Number 1, choose an activity. Number 2, not just, okay, you are going to do this one. Yes, but you have to complete and follow a sequence. And number 3, what is the result? Okay, the activity, you did it. Now, what did you learn? Experience. Work cycle. So, what is the hardest? ¿Cuál es lo más difícil? Choose the method, complete the activity, or try to make my students learn. Esa es mi pregunta para la que les voy a dar 2 minutos. ¿Qué es más difícil? Buscar qué actividad vamos a hacer para que aprendan ese tema. No, para mí lo más difícil, teacher, es que la completen, que la hagan, que sigan las instrucciones. No, teacher, en mi caso lo más difícil o lo más importante incluso para mí es ¿qué van a aprender de esa tarea? ¿Qué van a aprender de esa dinámica? ¿Qué van a aprender de ese task que les voy a poner? 60 segundos, piense como docente en el nivel que usted quiera. ¿Qué es más difícil? ¿Elegir el método de actividad que vamos a hacer? ¿Hacer la actividad en sí? ¿O tratar de cumplir una meta que es que aprendan? ¿Preguntas o dudas de esta pequeña dinámica? 5, 4, 3, 2. Ok, señores. Thank you. 120 segundos. Piense como docente, no como alumno, ¿ok? One minute left, my dearest students. 1 minute. Okay, are you ready? Let me know, teacher, I need more time. If you need more time, please let me know. No?
Yes,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay, excellent. Don't worry. ¿Les parece 2 minutos? ¿O muy poquito?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, iré a buscar un vasito con agua, chicos. Ya vengo. Okay. So ready or not?
I think I am ready.
Okay, excellent, Jackie. Thank you. So would you like to be the first one?
Yes, of course.
Perfect. Before to continue with your point of view, Jackie, choose Alessandra, Anita, Irene, or Mauricio.
Alessandra.
Okay, Ale, please be ready. Okay, Jackie, as an English teacher, well, not an English teacher, as a teacher, what is the most difficult for you?
Okay, before to answer this question, I had been analyze this question, right? So I do need some questions, and for example,
Nice.
Okay, what is the most difficult for you as a teacher? Okay, you need to know how many students are, in which circumstance, the environment, if they have previous knowledge, the age, if the students all are well behavior or some misbehavior, how that affect the others, because just with one student with misbehavior, that can affect the others. So I need to take into account every factor, right? And if there are many students, how can I perform an activity that they can realize in I determined by me? So I cannot choose an activity that I know that I will need much time. There are many factors that affect in that kind of situation. For example, this is a really interesting question because I have thinking, and I think that the most difficult for me will be choose the activity taking into account other factors that could affect in the classroom.
Excellent. And that happened to me, but not at the university. That happened to me at my business on my English academy. I have some problems with some teachers because they thought our students got the knowledge. And I always say, you have to teach a topic. It doesn't matter if the students is good or not. It doesn't matter if the students know the topic. You have to teach in order to they don't have any idea about the topic. So for me, choose the topic or choose the activity, it's not a problem for me. My problem is number 2, to follow the sequence, to complete a task. Okay, give a topic is easy, give an activity is easy, to give them homework is easy, but number 2, yes, they are going to complete the task, but in a good or in a bad way or in 50% or 100%. So one of the problems that I'm facing up right now is my teachers. They are teaching in a way that our students know how to speak English, for example. No, they don't know. So you have to teach. So number 2 for me, my personal is going to is one of the not the hardest, but is one of the tricky for me. Alessandra, please. 1, 2, or 3. And before to give us your opinion, choose the next student.
Okay, Mauricio.
Mauricio, be ready. Okay, Ale, please, go ahead.
Okay, I was thinking a lot about it, and I think my goodness, that I didn't find hardest. I mean, that is all the process that I have for choosing an activity. So, first of all, why are you choosing that activity? You have to make the purpose, right? So what is the purpose? What do I want to gain with this activity? So I think that for first of all choosing, you have to take in account, is this activity appropriate for this group? Because you know that you have a lot of different kind of students. So, or if you think that is this not enough for this activity, or I think that for choosing have a difficulty, it's a tricky. Also completing for the process and and what are the results. So I think that is even you have to think that, because for some topics it's easier. It's easy to choose an activity. That's for others no. So for this reason that I think that is for me, I can choose, yes, this is the easiest, or yes, this is the most difficult, because I think that is also is this part of the experience of the teacher. So because they have knowledge about it, and he can take account all the elements in that activity. Yes, first, it's because I think that is all the process.
Ok, excelente. It's all about the process. ¿Saben que una de las cosas que yo aprendí en una institución, bueno, yo he trabajado en 3 instituciones nada más. La verdad que siempre hago bastantes años en una institución. El punto es el siguiente. En una de las instituciones que yo trabajé, una de las cosas que yo aprendí y me marcó mucho, yo tuve en este caso una excelente jefa. Y ella a nosotros nos decía, ok, ¿cuál es la actividad mensual de la materia de inglés? Y ya usted le decía, la actividad va a ser esta. Pero ella decía, ok, pero ¿cuál es el objetivo? ¿Por qué vas a dejar esa actividad? Me decía ella. Los primeros días, ¿vea? Después yo ya aprendí. Y yo le decía, no, pues sí, para que los niños practiquen, un ejemplo, para que los niños practiquen el pasado simple. Y me decía, y solo eso, y ese es tu único objetivo. Y yo, entonces, yo con ella aprendí que si yo voy a dejar una actividad, que si yo voy a dejar una tarea, pero ¿para qué? ¿Solo para llenar un cuadro y poner una nota? Entonces, eso es algo que a mí me marcó y yo aprendí de ella, pues. Aprendí en este caso, obviamente ella es una mujer ya 40, 30 años, ya ella enseñando, yo apenas voy a tener casi 10. Entonces, eso es lo que a mí, eso es una de las cosas que yo aprendí de ella. Ok, vamos a dejar esto, pero ¿para qué? O sea, ¿solo para llenar un cuadro de notas? Entonces, eso es lo que ustedes tienen que aprender también. O sea, van a dejar esa tarea, esa actividad, eso. ¿Para qué? La mayoría de tareas, por ejemplo, se dejan para práctica. Ok, para que sigan practicando. Y volvemos a lo mismo. 20 ejercicios, no, 10 es suficiente. Ya hemos hablado de eso también. Entonces, elegir una actividad es fácil, pero el segundo punto, ¿con qué objetivo? ¿Cuál es la secuencia que vos querés que tus alumnos sigan? Y el número 3, ¿qué van a aprender? O sea, ¿qué van a aprender de esa X actividad que ustedes les ha dejado? Ok, thank you so much, Alessandra. Who's next, please?
Me,
Thank
I
you.
think the...
Mauri, please, choose one student.
One student, okay. Jackie.
Jackie, okay. Jackie was the first one. No,
Then
no.
Ellie is not here, Ellie.
No,
okay,
Ellie's not here. Anita, okay, Anita, please be ready. Okay, thank you, Mauricio. Go ahead.
Okay, I think the thing that is most hard for me is choosing activity, because we usually need to know what kind of student we have, and also what is our style, because no the activities are for us, because maybe a teacher prefers some kind of activity that are more like spontaneous, or they would like to have more control over the students, and others maybe do the activities individual because the topic is required in that way, or in group if the teacher considers that is a good idea. So I think choosing activity is the difficult part of making it.
Okay. And we have to choose an activity according to our levels, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's different from a child who is in first grade and another who is in high school.
Yes, it's totally different. Thank you so much, Mauricio. Let's see, Anita. Ready?
Ready.
Perfect. Hey, who's missing? I forgot it. Who's missing? Nobody's missing?
Irene.
Irene, please. Okay, I'm going to conclude this one with Irene. Okay, Anita, 1, 2, or 3?
Maybe the the third one because first, of course, you need to know like what students are. I don't know what are the interests of the students, and you need to like create activities based on that also. But I think that the third one maybe we be like the difficult because not all the students uh, will feel like with a sense of satisfaction because sometimes they feel like the activity was bored or so repetitive. So maybe I think that the third one will be like the more difficult because the students like ask for things they want and things that catch their attention. So maybe like if I get to know like really well my students, maybe I will have like experience the satisfaction, but if not, maybe the third one.
And there is always the group of students like, okay, good morning, okay, good morning, students. Today, please open your book on page 20, exercise number 7. Teacher, I don't want to work today. I'm sleepy. I'm hungry. Teacher, can we just stop and sleep? Yes. O sea, van a tener ese tipo de alumnos que nunca van a querer trabajar. Thank you so much, Anita. Teacher, I don't want to work today. Teacher, I don't want to do nothing today. So, choosing a topic and a method is not kind of difficult. Maybe it depends of your level. Maybe it depends of you, etc. But in this case, try to make my students work every day, doing the same every day. And remember, to finish with Irene, and remember, you are not the only ones at teaching. We got math teacher, history teacher, Bible teacher, computer lab teacher, language teacher, science teacher, etc. So try to make my students work in a routine every day. My God, ¿cuánto es el año lectivo en un colegio? 200 días, imagínense. 200 days doing the same. 200 days. O sea, 200 días haciendo lo mismo lo único que cambia es la materia. So, repeating and repeating and repeating. According to Ministerio de Educación, in high school, you are going to teach 3 hours. No, yeah, let's see, creo que son, antes eran 3 horas semanales, 3 hours per week. Ahora creo que son 4 por grado. O sea, usted va a enseñar 4 horas de inglés por grado. Eso es en high school. En elementary también es lo mismo. En basic creo que son 3. The point is this one. You're going to see your students 3 times in a week. 3 times for basic, 4 times for elementary, and 4 times for high school. So you are going to have 3 times, 3 methods, 3 dynamics, 3 activities. Or are you going to do the same every day? Okay, day 1, you are going to work from page 1 to page 20. Day number 2, you are going to work from page 21 to page 30. Day 3, my goodness, they are going to hate you. You are going to be the worst teacher because you're boring. But if you mix, okay, day 1, okay, we are going to have a dynamic. Would you like to listen to music? Would you like to watch a video before to start your class? When you got access to internet, right? Day number 2. Okay, guys, today we are going to work on your book. If you want, you can work in pairs. If you want, you can work alone. If you want, you can work in groups of 5. It's your option. My only rule is work. Mi única regla es que trabajen. Now, it depends on you if you work alone, in group, etc. Day number 3. Okay, wow. What a really good job you did it. My goodness, congrats. If you want, you can watch a movie. If you want, we can have a rest while I'm checking your books. Usted puede darse ese tiempo también. Hey, ok, vamos, nos estamos sentaditos, voy a chequear sus libros. Hey, y de verdad chequéelos, no solo ponga cheques, solo para que vean de que los manchó y que, no hombre, chequéelos. Vea que han escrito, tómese el tiempo, agárrese una clase para eso. Hey, recomendación, cipotes. Nunca vaya a ser de los maestros que va a llegar con la pila de libros a su casa, por favor, no vayan a hacer eso. Todo lo que sea trabajo, traten de hacerlo ustedes en el colegio, en sus horas libres, si es que tiene horas disponibles. Nunca vaya a ser de los maestros que van a andar con los grandes bolsones ahí, cargando libros y cuadernos. Se le va a perder un cuaderno de un cipote. ¿Y qué? Nos vamos a meter en problemas. Nos vamos a meter en problemas. So, according to my experience, number 2 and number 3, number 1, those are important. According to Ministerio de Educación, you're going to teach at least 3 or 4 hours in a week. But you have the opportunity to mix. You have the opportunity to change methods. You have the opportunities to do different kind of dynamics. Because if you are going to repeating and doing the same every single day, you are going to miss your objectives. And you are not teaching humans. You are creating robots. And that's not the point. Irene, please. Go ahead.
In my opinion, I think that the most difficult is the second one. Because I don't know if the student behave in the classroom. I don't know if they have a good relationship, and it depends of the time, and it depends in the material that I am going to give them. And I think that I as a teacher need to know if they have previous knowledge about the topic.
Excellent.
It relates to, I mean, if they have previous knowledge about the topic, because if they don't have previous knowledge, I cannot assign an activity, because not all the students learn at the same time, and in a classroom we have different learning styles, and a teacher needs to take into account that. Because in the classroom there are different situations that always the teacher should not avoid that kind of situation. There are students that there are students that maybe they are not lazy, but they don't have previous knowledge. And the teacher need to be there for them and need to be there, because if they don't understand the topic, how they are going to do the activity.
Ok, thank you, Irene. Fíjense que ese fue uno de los detalles que yo pasé la semana pasada con mis maestros de academia. Y vamos a iniciar un nuevo nivel y les digo yo, ustedes nunca tienen que asumir que el alumno ya lo sabe. Tienen que en este caso bajarse a nivel que ellos tienen. Porque hubo un maestro de los míos que es muy preparado, tiene hasta maestrías, etcétera, y les entró con patada al pecho. O sea, y les entró así de un solo y que miren y que las reglas gramaticales, o sea, y la gente se asustó. Entonces, nunca asuman que un alumno ya sabe. Usted ya sabe el tema, pero usted tiene que pensar que el alumno no lo sabe, aunque lo sepa. Por ejemplo, en el caso del grupo que yo le doy gramática. Esos hipotes de gramática son muy buenos. Ellos tienen un inglés, wow, súper fluido. Pero tienen problemas de gramática. O sea, ellos piensan que lo hablan bien, pero todavía tienen errores de gramática. Entonces, aunque yo sepa que ellos hablan bien, pero yo me tengo que bajar al nivel. ¿Por qué? Porque también tengo alumnos que les cuesta. No que no saben, que les cuesta. Ser maestro, tratar de ser un maestro integral, hijos, no es fácil y no se consigue en un corto tiempo. De hecho, yo creo que nunca se consigue. Ser un maestro integral que siempre quiere ayudar, que siempre anda con una sonrisa en su rostro, que siempre sea el maestro buena onda, que siempre sea el maestro que haga participar, que siempre sea el maestro que los alumnos no se le duermen. O sea, eso es, yo creo que no se consigue, pero sí más o menos se llega a alcanzar. Entonces, de todas las terminologías que hemos visto nosotros de Montessori, híjole, hemos visto un montón. Vamos a ver, quiero que hagamos solamente como mención antes de pasar allá a lo último. Ok, quiero ver, vamos a ver, vimos el Absorbent Mind, vimos el Children's House, que no tiene mucha relevancia, vimos el Concrete to Abstract, vimos el Control of Error, vimos el Coordination of Movement, el Directrice or Guide, Freedom with Limits, Grace and Courtesy, Mixed Age Grouping, Plans of Development, y el último que hemos visto es el Work Cycle. Todas las terminologías están basadas solamente en ¿qué? En una cosa, ayudar al alumno. Ayudar al alumno. Y yo aquí, incluso al inicio, vimos los beneficios de las terminologías de Montessori. Solamente estoy haciendo un pequeño review. Ok. Voy culminando ya con esto. En este caso, Montessori se basaba mucho en la cuestión de los niños. Pero también por ahí vimos, en este caso, yo sé que usted lo vio porque sé que se tomó el tiempo de verlo. Vimos también en este caso los programas para elementary y después vamos a ver en este caso los programas para secondary. Quiero que por favor veamos el programa para elementary school. Quiero que por favor ponga atención al vídeo.
I try to find different ways to light the fire. For some children, it may be taking something that they say and reflecting it back to them and then saying, how can we find out more? What do we need to do? For other children, it may be striking their imagination by putting something in their hands and saying, you know, we've got to find out more about this. It's me guiding what happens in the classroom and knowing when to step out of the way.
A multi-age classroom is actually a beautiful thing. Elementary 1 is 6 to 9, Elementary 2 is 9 to 12, and it is a community.
Because there's multi-age grouping, you come into a program, you spend 3 years there with children within a 3-year age span, and you can go at the pacing you're ready for.
There's an individual plan for every child. When you master something in a Montessori curriculum, you can just move to the next level. the child doesn't move on until the child is ready to move on and has a deep understanding.
The teacher's going to individualize where each child is, but you're also going to learn from each other. It's not always the older children teaching the younger, it's the student who has gained a skill is going to help another student.
Even though we do follow a curriculum, I have the luxury of watching a child, figuring out what they connect with and where they might be struggling, and giving it to them as many different ways as I need to, and giving them the time that they need to practice until it comes together for them.
One of the cornerstones of Montessori is that we want to allow children and young adults to be as independent as they can.
Hey, pilas. No quiero que observe el video solo como, ay, sí, yo voy a decir esto para que, pues sí, para que la teacher vea que... No. Quiero que vea desde el punto de cómo están decoradas las aulas, de cómo están posicionados los pupitres. Quiero que vea desde el punto de cómo nuestro sistema en El Salvador es tan paupérrimo. Quiero que observe desde el punto que, mire, las niñas con sus pulseras, sus aritos, cuando hay instituciones que hasta les prohíben usar pulseras. ¿Y por qué? O sea, un sistema tan, pero tan paupérrimo que nosotros tenemos. La clásica pongan los pupitres en línea, la clásica usen uniforme, la clásica peinate, la clásica para los varones, cortate el pelo, no entras al colegio. O sea, discúlpenme, es tan estúpido algunas reglas que olvidamos verdaderamente lo que es el aprendizaje. No sé si pusieron atención a un detalle. Como le digo, usted me va a explicar este video, pero no. Yo pienso, teacher, no. Quiero que abra su mente, por favor, señores. Cambiemos ya el sistema, que sean ustedes los nuevos maestros que cambien todo este sistema. Si yo no lo pude hacer, pero háganlo ustedes. ¿Qué mencionó ahí? They cannot move on to the next until they're learned. No pueden pasar de grado si no aprenden. ¿Cuál es el sistema paupérrimo de El Salvador? Que todos vayan pasando, que todos vayan. Lo importante es que se gradúen, lo importante es que... Y bachilleres a montones todos los años. Y montón de bachilleres, Vamos, ese es el sistema. Porque yo vengo de ese sistema. Yo vengo del sistema donde el cipote todo el año fue Aragán y con 3 actividades que se le dejó a fin de año ya se pasa. Entonces, ¿es cuestión de cultura? Sí, es cuestión de cultura, pero obviamente si no tenemos el poder de cambiar un sistema que viene de años, por lo menos comience usted con sus alumnos entonces. ¿Por qué para mí un parcial no es importante? A mí el día de mañana usted me sale mal en un parcial, yo no me voy a afligir. Yo me aflijo con la gente que no se mete a clases, ahí me aflijo yo, porque ahí sí puede dejar la materia. Yo me aflijo con la gente que yo hago preguntas y se quedan o no contestan. ¿Por qué? Porque no estamos en bachillerato, estamos formando profesional. Entonces, observe el video desde el punto de, teacher, ya vio la diferencia hasta cómo se visten. So, pilas con eso, porfa.
In a traditional environment, children are waiting to hear from the teacher where to go to get something. May they go to get something? Is this allowed? Is this not allowed? The teacher can move throughout, and children can get up and there's freedom of movement. There's the ability to repeat tasks if needed, and the teacher's there to support.
Ultimately, we want the children to be responsible for their own learning.
One of the outcomes that I have observed in Montessori children is this idea of critical thinking. They've got a problem, they throw out lots of guesses of what the answer might be. They will think through each one of those guesses and analyze it. Then they'll eventually get to an answer. They may not necessarily always get the right answer, but they know the process. And they don't see learning as a chore, they see learning as something that is really exciting.
Montessori education includes specialized learning materials. They are really very important to the learning process because children in the elementary age, they learn with their hands. They have to be engaged.
Without telling, we allow the child to use materials to discover and unfold a truth, whether it's understanding how numbers work together, understanding the history of the universe, understanding how a culture approaches something, and they get to discover it. And then we say, wow, what do you think about that?
All the education in the world doesn't matter unless a child has that sense of self and identity and has that ability to understand that kindness changes everything and that through that they can change the world.
It really develops the foundation for what Maria Montessori saw as a civilized human being moving forward through their learning, which is lifelong.
When my 6th graders walk out the door, I know they're ready. They're ready intellectually, they are ready emotionally, they're ready socially to navigate the next part of their education.
Okay. Critical thinkers. One of the things that catch my attention is how they don't care to work using a desk or to work on the floor. They don't care about it. Another things, and I mentioned before, is the system. In United States, according to this program, children cannot move or cannot continue without gain knowledge. Another thing that catch my attention is the effective. There is always effective. It's totally opposite with of Latin culture because, as we said before, we don't have the culture to read books. We don't have the culture to say thank you. We don't have the culture to say please. This is being from the past, not today. What kind of teacher would you like to be? I always ask you this important question. You got the tools. Maybe you don't got the experience, but you got the tools. Look at the structures. I don't know if they are learning about mathematics or if they are learning something about science. I'm not sure, but most of the time you have to see it on the floor too. So, according to elementary, because this is for elementary, it's more like a playing, sharing, observing, discovering. This is for elementary. But what is the most relevant for you, please? Volunteer.
Me.
Okay, thank you, Alessandra. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Since the video start, I noticed the difference, the classroom, the structure of the classroom, and I like the idea that yes, you in the video can see that sometimes they are working alone, equal as individuals, but the most of the work they work in pairs or in groups. And I like this a lot because this girl was explaining that the learning was individual, but they were going to learn about each other. And I liked it because if you see, the work was one is working in one part and the others were working in another part, but they colliding. And I like this a lot because sometimes the people says, yeah, they have to learn in groups, in teams. but they don't teach you how. And that is the problem then, that we don't want to work in groups because never learn how distribute the jobs and how complement your skills with my skills. And since there are things in this classroom that aren't teaching explicit. I mean, the teamwork, the work team, sorry, the values, you see the example of the values that they were sharing. And sometimes there are things that you don't have to teaching like with a whiteboard. You have to teach with your example, and then it's truly that they learn. So I like this a lot because it's an experience. I always thought there is the learning is an experience, like Piaget says. It's an experience that you have to live for applying in your mind. So if you don't have this experience, you don't have the learning.
And remember, it's not a competence. Okay, the winner is going to win an extra, but it's not a competence. Nunca hagan eso como que, y el primero que termine. Okay, the first ones who finish, I'm going to give you an extra point. No way. Eso no es didáctico. Eso no es ningún tipo de metodología que, okay, voy a premiar al primero que termine. No, 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 no. Never do that. Thank you so much, Alessandra. Really nice. Do we have volunteer, please? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alessandra, could you please help me to choose the next victim? Oh, Jackie. Okay, thank you, Jackie. Jackie, thank you so much. Okay, please, go ahead.
You see, the classroom is very nice because they are doing not just copy in their book that the teacher.
Yes.
It's very interesting because the aula is very creative, and they are very creative child kids too, because they learn playing. For example, to me, the teacher taught me las tablas de multiplicar. I have to memorize. You see, they do different activities to learn to learn math. And because the classroom, it is with color, it is with different kind of games, and the students are or has the freedom to learn in the way that they want. And there is a classroom, and each one is what they want. And that is what I got my attention to.
Yes, yes, really nice. Can you imagine your child studying in that kind of schools? Would be nice, right? Would be nice. O imagínese, se pone un colegio, usted funda un colegio con ese tipo de dinámicas, de metodologías, de estructuras, de sistemas. You're going to be one of the top and one of the best. Thank you so much. Let's see, Irene, please give us your opinion.
I was watching the video, and nice. In my personal opinion, I can say that the learning depends on the teacher. I remember, I want to show my experience. I had a good teacher, but I have bad teacher. I remember a teacher that taught me math, but I remember that it depends on the kind of motivation that the teacher shows. I remember that they got in the classroom angry. They
really?
Yeah, they never asked, how are you? And I don't know, in the there will be many students. I know that, and it is difficult to try to help them. but I think that it depends on the teacher, because I have been saying that I hate math, but now that I watch the video and I watch that in the classroom there were many different kind of decoration, and the student are in movement in the classroom, and they let the student do a different activity, and it is not necessary to be in the same place, because when we are in the same place, my goodness, it is so hard to be there all the time, and the student need to be in movement, because it is so boring to be I don't know, but to be in the same place. I had a teacher that she told me language, and I remember that someday we went out. We used to go out to receive the classes in a place where there were many trees. I remember that. I don't know how to say pupitre. I remember that we carry. Can you repeat?
Desk.
I remember that we carry the desk, and we received the class there, and it was so it was amazing, because I remember that I talked with my friends, and we were doing the activity at the same time, and I remember that when she got to the classroom, she smiled all the time. And I think that it depends on the teacher, and this is a kind of motivation.
Yes, it is.
If the teacher go to the classroom angry, my goodness, we are afraid. We are afraid. We don't have confidence. We don't have confidence with the teacher. And the student need to be in movement in the classroom.
Excellent.
That's my opinion.
And that's a good opinion. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Okay, to conclude and to finish our class for today, we are going to discuss the secondary programs. Vamos a ver el último video y aquí ya nos vamos a ir casi despidiendo. Quiero que ponga atención la diferencia entre el elementary, basic, o vamos a ver ahora el secondary.
Because of my Montessori education, I am being challenged in my own way, at my own pace.
Because of my Montessori education, I am ready to take on the world.
Montessori secondary education has prepared my child for the real world by understanding cultures, understanding people, understanding that people relate to each other very differently.
What makes Montessori so rewarding is to see how the kids make connections and those aha moments that they experience, and to know that you're part of them.
If you met me before I went to Montessori school, you would have seen a completely different person. I would have been that one kid that would have just been shying away in the classroom. Montessori has helped me become a leader.
I do think it is the best education for any kid at any level. With me being a byproduct, I've done a lot of great things. The things that I have learned and experienced here, they've started all the way down to when I was 3 years old.
The most inspirational part of the Montessori approach has always been the concept that within each child is already the adult that he will become.
My wife and I decided early on that we wanted an education that was going to go beyond just the academics, something that was really going to foster their social abilities, their social intelligence.
I think mixed age groups works particularly well in the adolescent years because there's a range of possibility, and students aren't tracked into this is what you can do as a 7th grader, this is what you can do as a 9th grader. And so kids can build off each other and teach each other in that kind of range that opens up limitless possibilities.
I feel like with the mixed age group, the kids have to learn how to manage relationships with older kids, with younger kids, and with kids the same age, which I think is really helpful, especially in current work environments where usually your job setting is quite diverse.
I think what makes a Montessori teacher special is an appreciation for individual learning. It's not about memorization, although there's can be an element of that. It's not about simply facts and figures. It's a dedication to understanding the whys.
Because we have a different approach in secondary Montessori, and because we have an incredibly prepared environment, it allows us to go deeper with students, which in turn provides them with an incredibly rigorous academic experience.
Every single child, every single adolescent in a Montessori classroom is challenged academically to their max. The whole point is to create a pathway for this human being to realize their potential.
And the teachers always just sort of like push you a little bit to get out of your comfort zone and keep learning and exploring.
Rigor in a secondary Montessori classroom means kids are having to really sit in the messiness of sometimes not knowing right away, and how to not give up right away, and how to collaborate with peers.
Service learning means getting out of the school, learning in the environment, connecting to people outside your school community, identifying real issues that exist in society, and thinking critically about problem solving.
We have a community service intercession where students are not in class but out in the community throughout the city, helping the community and giving back.
To give back to the community is really what we're about. How do they view themselves as being able to make an impact on their community, in the world?
The students research the problem, then they do the service learning, and they think about what else they could do to support that particular problem.
Our community gains hope because it shows that there are people out there that really do care for this world.
What do teenagers need? How is this content going to help me in the real world? How can I connect it to the world I see around me? I think that Montessori education helps me connect the dots in a way that it interests me and it intrigues me.
Montessori is preparing 21st century skills that employers are requiring of students, is knowing how to work in groups, being collaborative, being independent thinkers, taking initiative, and Montessori does that very well. They learn that from the moment they get here.
We allow them to feel so comfortable and confident at 18 when they leave us that they can do whatever they set their minds on.
I've been accepted by a rigorous public Ivy college, and Montessori helped best prepare me for that. I feel like I've been well prepared here enough to take control of my life after I leave here.
It is truly a joyful environment to grow an adolescent to maturity. It is such a life-changing place to be.
Nice, I like it. I really like it. Oops, wait. Okay. The Montessori method places a lot of emphasis on hands-on learning, but learning through physical movements. Secondary thinking, in this case critical thinkers. A Montessori secondary program is designed to address the needs of the students to enter in a new plane of development. But what is the characteristic? In this case, constructions of the social, self-motivated issues. They are more concerned. According to from age to 12 to 18, they are thinkers. They're still absorbing, but they act according to their decisions. critical thinkers. As we were talking in this case about critical thinkers, connection with the environments, critical thinkers, secondary programs. Okay, I'm the teacher, I'm going to do this one, but what's your opinion about it? I always ask to this, what's your opinion? Because you are not a robot, you're human. A Montessori home is one of which design people to follow, not rules, to follow dreams too. It's a dream when a children, a human, a teenager can explore, can use, can learn, can be objective, can have ethics, have different values. So, to conclude with this topic, secondary programs. What do you prefer? Well, not me, not do, because both are okay, both are good, but secondary, elementary. Vimos solamente dos programas ahora. So, what's your opinion about the secondary programs, please? Les voy a poner el video para que lo vayan ahí observando por si quieren en este caso estarlo viendo. Okay, please, volunteer, secondary. Montessori secondary programs. Thank you. Okay, I have a student, I have a teacher. Okay, so Mauri, yes, no?
Well, with all the activities that I saw in the video, I think these secondary programs can be also programs that can contribute to the learning. We see this in a special way of saying that whichever social group that you can be part is a way of learning. For example, the church groups for to clean the streets, to express yourself can be an experience of learning. And at the same time, the school using the Montessori system needs to combine both the environment inside the school and outside. For example, I saw in some schools that have programs or talleres. How do you say talleres?
Workshop.
Okay, workshop where you learn different things. Music, bakery. Also, you can make craft works, and that is cool. But I think the school can be more involved in this time because we have more resources than years before.
Excellent. For example, the topic, cooking time. Tenemos el tema, okay, cooking time. Okay, repeat after me. This is going to be traditional.
In fact, teacher, about the educational system of Japan, they have a special part where you learn to cook, when you learn different things, and that is good, very good.
Yes, of course. I really loved that kind of systems, and I had the experience to see students not playing in the park. They were studying and reading books, but it's another kind of culture and business. So we get the topic cooking time. Supongamos que tenemos el tema, okay, cocinar, cooking time. Are you going to be the traditional teacher like, okay, repeat after me? Okay, and now let's work. No. Hey, tomorrow we are going to have a picnic in the classroom and you are going to prepare your favorite dish. You have options. Porque igual, si les deja la opción abierta, le van a llevar ahí hasta sopa de res y todo. So, no. So, you have options. You have many options. Number one, prepare a sandwich. Tell me the ingredients. So, yo me acuerdo que una vez para ese tema yo dije, ok, vamos a ver el tema del cooking time y ustedes me van a preparar su platillo favorito. Les voy a dar aquí 10 opciones. Les dije pancakes, o sea, les dije fruta, así como en un bol, etcétera. ¿Y saben qué hicimos después? Yo les dije, ok, si usted va a hablar de un sándwich, de los ingredientes y de los utensilios que usted ocupó, usted tiene que traer la mitad de un sándwich para cada uno de sus compañeros. Entonces, cuando todos terminaron de exponer, miren, unos llevaron brownies, otros llevaron pancakes, otros llevaron sándwich, otros llevaron este cóctel de frutas. O sea, nos dimos una comida después. Y miren, bien felices, todos contentos poniendo atención y de ahí todos bien felices, contentos comiendo, de ahí todos bien felices recogiendo la basura. ¡Pum! Teamwork. Entonces, hay muchas formas de enseñar un tema, chicos. En el caso de ustedes, pues ustedes ya son adultos. Ustedes son adultos y bueno, las clases son así. Pero cuando usted vaya a enseñar en una aula a sus alumnos, a sus teenagers, a sus kids, puede hacerlo de diferentes formas. No siempre va a ser una forma divertida, no siempre va a ser una forma divertida. Van a haber muchas veces que nos vamos a cansar, nos vamos a aburrir de estar leyendo, nos vamos a aburrir de estar escuchando al maestro. Pero trate de hacer una mezcla en este caso. Trate de hacer una mezcla en este caso. Ok, ¿alguna duda o consulta, señores? Or everything is clear like a rampa lever? Yes,
it's clear.
Ok, quiero que observen mi última diapositiva, por favor. Voy a tomar fotografía y se las voy a mandar al grupo. Quiero que lean lo que yo le estoy tomando la fotografía, por favor. Ok, ahí se los mando. Señores, para el día viernes, necesito que de todas las terminologías que nosotros hemos visto de Montessori, usted elija una. Y en este caso quiero que me diga por qué eligió esa, o si esa es el tipo de metodología que le gustaría usar, con qué tipo de grado lo usaría, por qué lo usaría. Entonces, de todas las terminologías que hemos visto hasta este día, elija solamente una, elija su favorita o la que más le llamó la atención. Prepáreme no más de 4 diapositivas. Si es posible, hágame 3, 2, tampoco una, vea. Pero si es posible, o sea, no más de 4 diapositivas que apoyen su idea del por qué le gusta esa terminología de Montessori. Y obviamente esta dinámica, esta pequeña actividad, este pequeño assignment es individual. Individual. ¿Para cuándo, teacher, es? Para el día viernes. Tiene toda la semana para poder prepararse. ¿Dudas o consultas, clase?
Yes, teacher, I want to say, on Friday we just had 1 hour and I would like to know how much time we have because I know that we all should pass on Friday, right?
El detalle es que no se los quiero dejar antes. Espérame, vamos a ver. Permíteme, wait a minute, please. Sí, yo sé que tenemos 1 hora, pero yo creo que en 1 hora lo hacemos. Porque de ahí tenemos... No, para mañana es muy corto el tiempo. No se preocupen, yo voy a ir midiendo el tiempo para el día viernes, ¿ok? Tenemos, sí, no se preocupen. Lo único que eso sí, a las 8:50 inicio. 8:50 a 9:40, ¿ok? Entonces, sí, yo creo que en 1 hora lo hacemos. No se preocupe, porque para mañana es muy corto el tiempo y para la otra semana, no, tampoco demasiado. Así que no se preocupen, yo voy a ir ahí midiendo el tiempo. ¿Alguna otra duda o consulta? Ok, my dearest students, everything is fine. Excellent, thank you so much. Chicos, nos vemos mañana. Se cuidan, vamos a comer y descansen. Bye, God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Bye.